When you look at the last few days, we've had over 8,000 individuals that are coming in. Some areas get a lot more activity, like El Paso and certainly the Eagle Pass area. But look, everybody talks about, the border. You can send more personnel. You can do certain things. But that's playing defense on the 1-yard line. If we don't play defense on their 20-yard line and extend it and have repercussions at the border, also, people are going to come in. I know that sometimes people say, well, it's seasonal. Yeah, there is an aspect of seasonality, but a lot of it has to be that, if the criminal organizations are promoting and getting people here and saying this is a time to cross, yes, these numbers are coming in. Look what's happened at the Darien Gap. I mean, there are large numbers, and we're not doing enough to stop them at their 20-yard line, and everything is being done here at the 1-yard line called the U.S.-Mexico border.
And so, Congressman, what do you see as the solution to this?
Well, look, I'm looking at your split screen here, and I'm seeing DPS. We're seeing Border Patrol. We're seeing they're talking about sending more military folks over there. And they're just helping folks come in. I mean, look at what we're seeing right now. You got to have a policy where you actually return people back. You got to do that. Otherwise, people are going to keep coming. If you don't detain people, if you don't send people back, then the border becomes a speed bump. And what I worried about is now my counterparts on the other party. If we don't do a CR, we're going to have a shutdown. And I've talked to Border Patrol agents. I've talked to Border Patrol chiefs. They're going to keep working. And they got families. They got bills to pay. And while they're working and then this stress builds up with large numbers, it's going to be a very difficult time for our men and women in green, and we got to help them instead of having a government shutdown.
And if there is the government shutdown, as you very well state, the Border Patrol would have to continue working, even though they would not be getting paid for it because they are essential employees of the federal government. But Congressman, it's so difficult because the fact is that you have tens of thousands of people, as you accurately state, are going through the Darien Straits as we speak. And many more are on their way there. They have to do that dangerous trek through Mexico. There's not been one person that I've spoken to in the last 2 years that has gone through that tells me that the most difficult and horrendous part is going through Mexico. Is there something that could be done? You talk about the 20-yard line. All right, let's talk about the 20-yard line. Is there something that could be done with Mexico, in cooperation with Mexico, or with maybe even the Central American countries that are, just the whole area there?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's playing defense on the 1-yard line. First of all, one of the things we need to do is give authorities a homeland where they can do their work outside the U.S. border. And that means a lot. Just think about the authorities that Homeland does, and then working with Mexico and working with Guatemala, Panama, Colombia. What happened to those regional border processing centers that we were supposed to set up in Panama and Colombia? And if we don't, all they're going to do is just keep coming over here. The criminal organizations know exactly what they're doing. They're saying, promoting this is a time to cross, because every time somebody crosses, depending $5,000, $8,000 an individual, the only ones that are making money are the criminal organizations. And you're right, they're coming through a very difficult time. And there's ways that we can work with those countries. We got to work with those countries. Keep in mind that, under President Obama, there was at one time that Mexico was actually stopping more people at their southern border with Guatemala than the U.S. Border Patrol was doing. That's what we need to do. Is we got to work with those countries. And if we need to put a little pressure on Mexico and the other countries to work with us, let's go ahead and do that and get the job done. I know some of our DHS officials and headquarters, because I talked to them, they're going down to Mexico. The U.S. consulates and the embassy is talking to the Mexicans to stop those people from getting on the trains to come over here. They got to do a lot more. There's ways that we can do it, but we got to change some of the authorities and change the mindset. the mindset that we play defense at the 1 yard line. Because look at your images. You can send a lot more Border Patrol agents. You can send a lot more DPS. You can send the military there. But what do they actually do when somebody hits the U.S. border? Tell me what they do. And that tells you got to have repercussions of policies and do the work outside on their 20-yard line.